All right, so now on to our featured topic. Mr. Sanjoy? Where are you? Is he here? Here. Are you talking? No? Okay.
The deck is not updated.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have our speaker.
That was for you guys. You had the photo.
All right.
That's okay. No worries. How it works here. This one.
Yeah, that one back in the red is a little corner. See.
So send joy, people. There you go. Awesome.
So introduce yourself, Marco. Sorry.
All right. So I'm Marcos Correa. I work with the DDC as a project manager there, and I'll do part of this presentation, and then Chin, who also work with our team at DDC, will also do some presentation here. So today our topic is how to go from good to a great as a PM, and our intent here is not to touch processes or methods or agile waterfall, but we want to focus on one of the issues we as PMs have every day, and that I think we can help improve our performances on a day-to-day basis. So it's common that we hear from our colleagues about deadlines and timelines and due dates and people being pushed into 10 different things and doing 10 different tasks every single day. So I think, like, does anyone relate with the questions here? Where do I start? I feel overwhelmed. Deadlines, too many meetings, and I think this picture is nice because sometimes it's pretty much how we feel every day. And this presentation here is to touch some of, if not all, of these questions. And then how are we proposing to resolve this question? We have here for you guys two main items, which is time management and prioritization and delegation. And these are the answers for these questions, right? However, we already gave you the answers, but these things are easier said than done. And it is easy to oversee time management and prioritization on our day-to-day, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Now, I would like you guys to take a minute to think, last Monday, what time did you guys wake up? What time did you guys take the train? Or what time did you guys arrive? What time did you guys left the office? Then let's talk about Tuesday. What time you guys did wake up? What time did you guys took the train or the bus to come to office? And if you start to think on these questions, we will see that every single day we have these buckets of time that are recurrent. And since we're human beings, we are animals of habits, we like habits. This is it. Now, the interesting part when I was doing this slide is that I think like 90% of the people here, people on the phone, fits on this framework. It's a little bit scary. Then how we define what we do on these time buckets? Well, usually you wake up about the same time, you take your bus about the same time, you train about the same time, you kind of arrive about the same time. However, it is on this bucket, which is your office hours, is where you have your activities scheduled. So, common to everybody, You come in the morning, the first thing you do, you open your Outlook, look into some emails, look into your calendar. What do I need to do today? And then you do this on Monday, and then you do this on Tuesday, and then you do this on Wednesday, and just keep going. Problem with this is that when you open your calendar and looking into what activities you need to do, it is taking too much on a passive mode, and I'll get that in a second. But what you'll be need to do is to walk through your Outlook into all the different appointments and calendars, and then at 5 o'clock, we'll be like, okay, I have done not everything I should be done. And then this happens every day. So when you're working on this way, what's pretty much happened is I was talking about the passive mode, which is you let your calendar manage you. You let other people take chunks from your time, and also you let you ask people to take chunks from your time, and then you pretty much run through the day. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, meetings. What I need to do, who I need to call. It's all in here. Of that, on this passive mode, you will be pushed into 10 different directions. But what will happen is we'll have ethic days, because honest, you are not doing what you are supposed to do. Your deadlines, your presentations, your key needs. So Bob is here, he can talk about the key needs. You have time to deliver all these things. However, you don't see time on your day to do all those things. And this is the feeling that I see, and I particularly was this during some time, finishing the day, look into my calendar and say, okay, I have done 100 things, maybe 10 was something that I really need to do. So now I'm going back home, I'm having my dinner, see my family, kids go to bed, I open the laptop, go to my emails and do the work that I couldn't be done during the day. Does anyone relate to that? Thank you. So our proposal is to work on your time as on an active mode. What that means? That means take charge of your time. Do not let your schedule manage you. Do not let your schedule control you. You control the time. And controlling your time means that you are more productive, that you can do a lot more things than you were doing before. You will be doing the right things and the things that are needed to keep our projects and our life on track. So some ideas that we have for the active mode, and this first one is one I really like. I was reading about this subject months ago, and different authors, and trying to see how we can improve the performance and achieve our goals. And then every single one mentioned this. Write down your goals, write down what needs to be achieved, and do that on a daily basis. And then some of them do at night and then review in the morning. Some of them do in the morning. I think we are free to see what fits us best, but write down your goals. Write down, especially starting your week, Monday morning, you come in, first thing you do, open your Outlook, open your schedule, what slots I have free, which goals I have for the week, how I'm gonna plan for the week. And then start to open up areas in your calendar for things that don't necessarily need to be there or don't necessarily need to do. Schedule time for your to-do lists, for your meeting preps, for the things that are important for your project and your tasks. And make sure, and another part as well is color coding. It's something I was not doing before, and I think it's great, because then also gives you an idea with like the ones you must be there, the ones are more department, the ones are optional, and then you have more sense on really what you need to do. But if you do this every Monday, just try it for like a month. Do this every Monday. What do I need to achieve this week? What do I need to achieve on Monday? What do I need to achieve on Tuesday? And on Monday, already start to allocate your time through the week to achieve your goals. And we will also see that there will be times where you are double booked or triple booked, that you can already say, I'm not going to this meeting. And then also helps all the other colleagues well in advance to change the time of the meeting. And lastly here, don't forget the out of offices on your calendar so people know that you are not here on that day or on that part of the day, so you can let them know that that meeting cannot happen at that time, and also respecting their time in that sense. And then to finalize this idea is some points here to work smart or not, and not harder. And go beyond your work hours. Meaning, you already have your 9 to 5 slot there, scheduled, and you take control of it. Go and expand for your whole day. Make time for what matters to you, to your family, to your studies, to your reading, to your hobbies. And you see that you take a lot more of your day than you imagined before, and you not be as tired as you thought you would be when you start allocating all those things. My favorite one is number one bullet here, that if we spend an hour a day commuting, that means 260 hours a year. It is like a lot. It is really a lot of hours, and the idea here is to use the commuting time. You can use to relax, you can use to read, you can use to do audiobooks, to read audiobooks, you can do work, but use that time. It's 260 hours that maybe you want to do a course or read a book that you're saying, I don't have time. Well, you just got 260 there. And it's just to use the time on the smart way as possible. And again, write down your goals, professional goals, personal goals, family goals, financial goals. Write down, do as the PM does, create a plan, put the tasks on, and schedule yourself to do it. Because it's easy for us to do the plan, and then like sometimes we don't schedule what we need to do to achieve our personal goals, but we do it for all the projects, but not for ourselves. Okay, so now I pass the baton to Chin.
All right. Thanks, Marcos. My name is Chin, and I am PM also at the DDC. And so Marcos has talked about being a typical day being in the passive mode, proposed some actions to do in active mode, and I'm coming to talk about being proactive. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the Eisenhower decision matrix, but it pretty much was gotten from the President Eisenhower, it's the fourth president, I think, and he talked about that most of the time he has two problems. One, it's either something is very important but it's not urgent, or something is very urgent and it's not important. However, you need to find those items that are urgent and are important. So in your day, in your tasks, in whatever you have to do, think about what's urgent, what's important. You want to do that first. So the green bucket at the upper right corner is what you have to do first. So when you come in and you start your day, think about, okay, what do I have to do today? What's urgent, what's important? I'm going to break this down with an email you received from Oscar. We all know who Oscar is, right? Our CEO. I got an email from Oscar today, and it says, Chin, I need this status report before 10 a.m. At that point, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, if I am it doesn't really matter what I'm doing at that point. I'll step out and get that report to him immediately. That's bucket number one. That's what I have to do immediately. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I could also get another email from Oscar, but saying, well, Merry Christmas. Well, quite frankly, I know it's from Oscar, but, like, what do okay, thank you. Like, I would not there's nothing to do with that email, right? It's one of those that we know comes from our topmost guy, he pays our bills, but hey, we have nothing to do with it, so eliminate it. So you have to think about your day, your tasks, your calendar, everything with that lens of what's critical, and then put them in those buckets, right? And then there's the bucket of not urgent and important. So, example, again, Oscar sends an email saying, well, everybody at United, I need your surveys done. Notes that it's due November 20th. Okay? Sure. You schedule your calendar to make sure you get it done. So fit in some time when you can do it. It's important, it's just not urgent, right? Fit it somewhere. Get it done before November 20th. And then the delegate bucket, it's urgent, but it's not important. So for instance, again, Oscar sends an email and says, so I need a report, I need you to run a report from Plus and let me know who has charged to this project in the past month. I could just ask maybe a project coordinator to run the report for me. Of course, I will review it to be sure it's correct before I send it out to him, but it's something I can delegate to be done by somebody else, right? So again, the goal here is to think about what's critical, what do you have to do now versus what do you not even have to touch. And then I have a few points here about procrastinating. No, I am guilty, so I'm preaching to even myself here. I mean, there are some times when I come in, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it later, and then I'm scrambling because I forget, right? So we want to avoid procrastinating. Now, the biggest thing here, we are most of us here are PMs. The number one thing in the PMBOK, for those that are certified, PMBOK is the Project Management Book of Knowledge by PMI, is to, we have 47 processes that every PM has to do. In the PMI world, 24 of them are planning. Now, if you plan, and there is data to say that if you plan, you'd have less to do at your deployment phase, because everything except unknown risks that weren't identified should go according to plan. So we want to spend time upfront to plan. Again, this you can go as granular as you can or very high level, but you want to plan. Take your time and plan. Then piggybacking on what Marcos said, you want to keep a checklist. You want to keep a checklist with due dates. And it's a living document, so you want to keep updating it. Every single time you have a task, I have a notepad that I go around with, and every single thing I have to do on the day or anything that comes in, I add to it. I physically write it, and I have it with me so that I'm, tracking, I can see it, right? It helps you, again, that you're less likely to forget what you have to do because it's written, it's in front of you. And then at the end of the day, when you look at your checklist, there's that feeling of accomplishment when you've checked off tasks that you've done. Sometimes you don't realize you're doing so much until you come back at the end of the day and you go, whoa, I've done all of this. And it's there's just that gratifying feeling that comes from it. And then, second of all, we want to manage our dependencies and complexities very closely. So as PMs, we all know how to use our project plans. You want to monitor that very closely. Again, your project plan is nothing set in stone. It's something that you have to constantly monitor. Check your critical path items, because if that fails, your project will slip. You want to be sure that you're assessing your dependencies. You're being sure that if there are any complex tasks or dependencies, your eyes are on them. You also want to add buffers and slack to your timeline. You always want to do that, because again, we all know when someone tells you we're done in 2 days, in your plan, make it 4, really, because you come in 2 days and they're like, oops, you know what, I'm just about to start. So you always want to add that buffer. I skipped a line in procrastinate, shorten your deadline. So as PMs, we typically have a lot of deadlines and what to do. Now, if I'm given a task and I tell my boss that I'll get it done in 2 weeks, for me, I tell myself, and in my checklist, I put it for 3 days. Because again, I need to factor in every possible thing that can go wrong for me to deliver in 2 weeks. So for us as PMs, a takeaway here is shorten deadlines for yourself. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, delegate. Anything that's a nice to have or anything that you know will be more effectively done by somebody else, you want to delegate that task. All right, next one here is if you're given multiple projects, how do you prioritize? Number one, if I receive a new project from my boss, Kenny, sitting right here, and I do not have the capacity to do it, I need, and we all as PMs need to master the art of saying no without really saying no. Kenny's looking at me, but yes, you have to, because you set up yourself to fail if you don't give that right pushback. Now, again, you don't just come up and say no. Of course, you will be heading out the door if you do that. You have to be, again, smart and wise about it. You have to be very honest about why you can't. You can ask for more time, or you can ask for more resources. Or, I mean, if it's something that absolutely has to be done and they want you to take charge, then push it back to them and say, here, prioritize for me. Let me know what I should drop off. You know what I mean? If I'm going to pick this up, then I have to drop something off. Or, give me more people. Like, pretty much have that conversation of either push back or ask for more resources. We're all aware of the triple constraints as PMs. Something has got to give. If you don't have time or money, resources, something has got to give. Now I have the Pareto principle here. I don't know how many people here have heard about Pareto principle, and it's also called the 80-20 rule, which pretty much says that, again, this isn't absolute, but generally, most of the time, approximately 80% of your results are gotten from 20% of your hard work. So pretty much, when you just think big picture, think about your day. Most of the time, there are just 1 or 2 items that you need to do to really achieve everything you have to do that day, and the rest of them are just little bits that just add up, right? I have interesting information here. I want you guys to all put up your phones and check how many apps you have on your phone. Just give random. Mine, I looked at it, each page has 30, and I have 3 of those, so I have 90 apps on my phone. Now, look at your phones and check how many apps you have. While you're doing that, there's a fun fact here that I found online. The average phone owner has about 60 to 90 apps on their phones. Average. Now, there are people that have 300. So, but most of the time, people here, precisely 77% of the time, most people only use 3. Most of the time. So we have all these apps and we really use 3. So if I wake up and you're asleep, I take your phone, delete, if you're 90, delete 80 of them. You may not even, outside of just seeing it, you would not feel it because you don't use it, right? Also, 96% of the time, we only use 10 out of 60 to 90. So pretty much, again, you want to focus on those pieces that we use more. The rest of them are totally almost useless to us. Fun fact, United related. We actually have 20% of our ticket revenue this year, 2019, was gotten from 72% of our, sorry, let me get it right. So, sorry, 20% of our members, the top 20% of United Club members. So United members, people that have accounts with United, that have bought tickets on our website, are responsible for 72% of our revenue. First class tickets and all the upgrades that they get are responsible for that. Now, in United, if we're going to do anything, if there's any decision that's going to impact that 20%, I can tell you that Oscar will not play with that group, because they're giving us 72% of our revenue ticket-wise, right? So the top 20% is critical. I'm trying to say here that we need to use this approach when we're thinking about projects and things that we're doing every day. Think about what's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck here. So when you have when you're given a project, you need to prioritize on what gives you the largest impact. Again, it's usually just a tiny bit, but it gives you the largest impact on your bottom line. And here are a few steps of what to do. First of all, when given a project, you need to understand what the ask is. So pretty much, what are you looking to do? What applications and what channels are impacted? Who are the key stakeholders and partners? The second W is, why are we doing it? Who is impacted? Customers, agents, employees, etc. And then when should this be done? When is usually very key, because you don't know, you need to find out what commitments have been made. Sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's contractual. There's so many reasons why a project has to be prioritized over others, but you need to put all of this into perspective to understand that. Also, you need to determine how you can work efficiently. So you have 10 projects, how are you going to sequence it? Does one have to come before the other? So I currently have a project that is going on, and it's dependent on the platform upgrade. So I have to efficiently plan and slot those tasks in where it doesn't, where the platform project doesn't impact me negatively. Finally, we're talking here about eliminating busy work, or, well, let's say minimizing busy work. We can't really eliminate it. But again, this slide is packed full of a lot of data that I found online. It's interesting how much we waste at work, how much of our time and effort that we waste at work. And if there is nothing you take away from here today, you want to take second to the last line here. It says half of the time wasted in meetings cost U.S. businesses $37 billion with the B, $1 billion every year. That means, to that point, we should, as PMs, because we oftentimes schedule a lot of these meetings, we need to schedule more productive, effective meetings. If you don't need an hour, please make it 30 minutes and make it effective. How many times have we been in meetings where we're waiting for the first 5 minutes and we're going, yeah, we're still waiting for people to join in and settle in, and 5 minutes is gone. And then we're trying to get all our technology in place, the phone lines, it's another 10 minutes, and somebody walks in 15 minutes later and is a key stakeholder, and then we have to recap everything we said. Like, all of this time is going. While you're talking in the meeting, some people are busy chatting away, some are sleeping, some are, well, it's true. There are people that literally are asleep when you're in meetings. So people are sleeping, some are doing other things. Again, time wasted while you're in that meeting. You want to have effective, productive meetings. Jump in right on time, start off. If anybody is not there, they'll read up the notes. They can follow up with you afterwards, but just keep going so we don't waste time. But that's 4 meetings. At the top, we want to talk about interruptions. Now, it's very common where we stop by each other and just chit chat, just a quick, quick chat. How's your day? And then talk about everything that happened. And before you blink, time is going. So pretty much, again, this is all data we can find everywhere. But we have about 56 interruptions in a day. This is, again, the average worker in a day is interrupted 56 times. Data also shows that it takes about 3 minutes to, get back on. Like, when someone interrupts you and you're doing something, it takes you about 3 minutes to kind of refocus and then go back to what you're doing. That's, again, time wasted. So you're wasting time being interrupted, you're wasting time refocus. And then pretty much when you put that all in perspective, it takes about 2 hours of just recovery from interruptions. Like literally just getting back to getting work done. Out of your 8 hours, 2 hours is gone just on interruptions. That's real waste. And then finally, I'm going to talk about emails. Again, if we go back to my side of my Eisenhower matrix, where you have to start thinking about what's critical, what's important and urgent, do it. What's not, eliminate it. All of that. Think about all the emails you get. On the average, a worker in America gets about 304 weekly emails every week. That's we get about 36 emails an hour. Now for emails, when you get if you're busy doing something, you get a new email. It takes you 16 minutes to read that email and focus back on what you were doing. That's 16 minutes of your day. Like, this is so much time that we're wasting. What I want to say here is you want to focus on emails that are sent to you. You want to have set rules for your emails. You want to flag action items in your emails. And you want to have time when you really just look at emails. So you don't want to keep going, there's a new email, you switch over. Just maybe have to look at your email every 2-3 hours a day, you know? So I just brought this up to give us tips on how we can manage our time, our day, and prioritize our projects as PMs. Thank you. Any questions?
Are we at the job that only has 300 emails a week?
Okay, just to sum up here, if there are 3 points that we want you guys leave with the meeting today is first, write and review your goals daily. That will keep focus on your goals and what needs to be done. Second is to actively plan your time. Don't let others do that for you, and don't let your schedule run your day. You run your day. The third one is to delegate as much as possible so you can make sure that everything that's needed is done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, he just did a quick summary to round things off. So today, you've had some updates.